Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request, this time from Arthur. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos or commentaries or reviews or reactions or re-reviews, whatever it may be, rankings lists, randomness, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box under the video. And this is for the 1990 film Misery. Now, I always enjoyed the film. I know there's a Blu-ray from, I think, Scream Factory, Shout Factory, which I never picked up. I don't know what new features it has on it. But I always enjoy this, based on the Stephen King novel, which I know Stephen King wasn't sure on this getting made because he does not like a lot of the adaptations to his work. I mean, I know he likes Terry, Cujo, I think he liked Rob Reiner Stand By Me, which is how he got the job for this, because Stephen King said, if this movie gets made, I want Rob Reiner to do it. Frank Darabont, he likes The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile. Nowadays, if one comes out, he's like, yeah, it was so great. Back then, he was much more critical. He does not like The Running Man. He does not like Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining, which is different from his novel. He doesn't like the film he directed, Maximum Overdrive. I don't think he was a fan of Silver Bullet. Like I said, a lot of those he's not really big on. He doesn't like Graveyard Shift, the 1991, which I enjoy. But Misery, I mean, this is a film that got some Oscar... How do I put it? I don't know if I want to say Oscar buzz, but I won an Oscar. Kathy Bates won for her performance of Annie Wilkes. She does a great job as the villain. You have James Caan as the writer of these popular novels, these romance novels with the name Misery on them. He wants to do something more. The last book he wrote, he killed off the character because he wanted to do something more and different. And I find it funny how a lot of times directors and such, they'll say, oh, these fans are so... I mean, Seth Rogen recently said, if you don't like my cartoon Santa Inc., you're a white supremacist. And Paul Feig, if you don't like Ghostbusters 2016, you just hate women. Like, all this shit the directors and all this stuff do. Even Ridley Scott. Oh, people didn't see my movie, The Last Duel, because they're millennials on their phones. I'm like, well, I get your point, but at the same time, no one was going to see $100 million medieval film in today's age. Not even me, not even a lot of other people. Last time you tried to do this with Robin Hood, it bombed. Did you forget that? Most films deal with it, unless it's like maybe Excalibur or Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Most Teen Arthur with Gerard Butler, not Gerard Butler. Oh my God, what was his name? He was in Shoot 'Em Up. He was in Children of Men. Clive Owen. It was Clive Owen. That film didn't do well. I like most of those. Anyway, going off track. My point is, like all these directors about how fans. No, this is a fan going overboard, and this is an appropriation of that. This is the true definition of that. Saying a few honest opinions on Twitter or Facebook don't mean shit. This is the real deal. So just a reflection of that. It just made me think of that. And for a movie, you take it to the extreme. In this case, he wrote a book, a manuscript, because he wants to do something more with his writing career. Something a bit more creative. He's coming back. It's snowing. He gets in a car crash. He wakes up. He's in Kathy Bates, Annie Wilkes, that's the name of the character, her home, with her dog named Misery, and I'm your number one fan. She was a nurse. She's healing him up. His legs are broken. His shoulder's a bit fucked up, and for most of the film, he's trapped in this bed and trapped in this place. And Kathy Bates plays a crazy bitch. One crazy ass bitch. Like, she's so nice and sweet, and then when she found out that the book that came out, she hadn't read it yet, and he killed off her favorite character. Now again, like Disney Star Wars, I'm pissed they killed off Han Solo and then Luke Skywalker. I could make a video. What the fuck? In real life, would I do anything? No, because it's still difference between real life and talking to a webcam. Maybe Annie Wilkes, maybe that would help her. Maybe that was, day and age of just yelling at a webcam, maybe that would have helped her. But, no, she was just batshit crazy. And she gets so super pissed that you killed off her favorite character. And she has these spouts of anger. And Kathy Bates did a great job. I don't see anybody else that could have been. I know they wanted Angelica Houston, but she was busy doing stuff. But I think Kathy Bates, she had not done a lot of stuff up until then. But I can only think of anybody else. Because she tries to be a bit sympathetic. Like there's the bit later on where she has the gun. And, sometimes she talks about how sometimes, especially when it rains. And she definitely must have had some kind of history that fucked her up. All we know about her history is before she was a nurse and there was some child deaths involved. Whatever the whole deal with that was. But like she's willing to break your legs, but she doesn't want to curse. Instead she says, "You dirty bird. How could you?" Or when she makes him write a new Misery novel to resurrect her, he tries to do a fake out or a lousy way of writing, and she's like, no, that's not what happened. That doesn't follow the plot of your previous books. You need to do better. I remember these serials that I would watch, and he would jump off a train. Then next week, it's like, no, he didn't get out of the cock-a-doodle car. And she deserved the Oscar. Because again, there are quiet moments that you buy her being cheery and nice, and then when she's crazy, you're like, you just. She's telling him how to write and not cheat the story. And then a lot of people were up for the James Caan part. They said no. From like Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, like all these guys that were Jack Nicholson. I have to think a lot of them regret not doing this because it was such a well done movie and popular film. Rob Reiner did a good job directing. I thought the movie went at a good pace. It never felt boring. At times, you cut to this likable sheriff played by Richard Farnsworth and his wife. I forget the actress's name who plays the wife, but I remember she was in the Sean Connery film Outland as one of the few people that helped Sean Connery out. I forget her name. But Richard Farnsworth, he did very likable, humorous sheriff who's looking into this disappearance, and kind of a red herring, but not in the way that term's usually used. I'll get to that in a minute. And James Caan, he's a good actor. I liked him in this film called Alien Nation. I know he's not a fan of the film, but I think it's a good movie. Rollerball, I love the original Rollerball. He was in Thief, Michael Mann film. That's a good one. I know he was unsure of doing it. I guess a lot of actors were unsure of doing it because they're very passive, where most of the time they're in a bed. But I'm sitting there going, but look at the story. Look what happens. By the end, you're defeating and punching her with a typewriter, and you're doing all this without the use of your legs. That's not passive at all. To me, it was a fairly tightly written script where you get this peculiar character where she's a fan of him, she's fucked up, and you get a few little moments of I just her true self coming out. I don't know how you put it. Like that bit where it's raining and she's like, you know, I fell in love with you as a writer. As you've been here, fell in love with the rest of you. And don't say you love me, because I'm not the movie star type. And James Caan is trying to play along. I like it here. And she goes, that's kind of you to say, but I bet that's not altogether true. Kind of the moment of reflection, the moment of, in a weird way, sincereness on her. Just her being completely sincere on her part and knowing the truth of the matter. And I think that's why, in the end, if we can bring misery back, I'll give something to the world, and then 2 bullets, 1 for me, 1 for you. And again, the show, just her, how fucked up she is. She knew he's been sneaking around trying to find some stuff, and in the novel, she cuts his legs off. I think it was the better choice to do it this way. I think the sledgehammer works immensely better in a lot of ways. Number one, you don't have to deal with the fact of, well, if you cut the legs off, then there's going to be so much bleeding. Why doesn't he bleed to death? Why is she going to cauterize the wound? Will that seem ridiculous? Will that seem silly? That wouldn't really happen. I mean, you now have the audience questioning things, questioning this, questioning that, and now they're out of the movie, whether for a minute, 30 seconds, or 5 minutes. This, you don't have to deal with that. You just, okay, she broke his legs again. Very like, and you just buy into it. And also, in a weird way, technically, yes, you would rather have your legs broken by a sledgehammer than cut off. But visually, it seems more grisly. Maybe because you're just chopped off and your mind kind of instantly goes, okay, that's a special effect. Because, that's, blood, and we've seen that in plenty of horror slasher movies. But with the leg going, just like, ew, like it's delayed, it's still there, and the sound effect, the bone crunching, and the way it's edited, it's just much more effective. And then after that, she goes, God, I love you. But yeah, James Caan does a good job as the writer, very straightforward, and then when he gets pissed, nowadays, Sally probably couldn't get away with this. Even though she deserves it, she's a villain. But at the end, when he's getting like the burnt paper, it's like, you want it? Eat it, bitch! Eat it, stuffing it down her throat. There would be, if that was released today, there would be people going, that is so misogynistic. I'm like, it's a crazy bitch who broke his fucking legs and was going to kill him. If it was a guy and you said, well, you piece of shit, you asshole, fuck face, fuck tar, you'd be fine. But if it's a lady, see, that's just the way of the world today. And now, spoiler alert, for those who've never seen seen the movie, spoilers, with Richard Farnsworth, when I said red herring in a way, by the time he comes up, it's about an hour and a half into it. And you think, oh, okay, well, he'll get knocked out, or he'll help, but then he gets knocked down. Now, then James Caan will defeat Kathy Bates. Then Richard Farnsworth wakes up, and at least he can bring him to safety. At least he can bring him to the hospital. Okay, he's there to be the driver to get him from point A to point B. Where makes me go, how the fuck did anyone know he was there anyway? Did he drive? Because Richard Farnsworth dies. He gets shot. He's killed. Man, that sucks. Because he's a likable guy. He's a likable character. But I think that also shows that if there's any point that there's no point of return for Kathy Bates' character, it's that. This character we've grown to like, is humorous, interactions with his wife, nice, seemingly nice guy, that's shot in the back by Kathy Bates' character. So now she's gotta go. She's gotta die. Which she does. And it's like, okay, no more. Even if you had a semblance, some little bit of sympathy, that's gone away by that point. I do wonder though, how the hell did he get out of there? Because his legs are fucked up. Richard Farnsworth is dead. I guess he had to crawl and get to the car, but how did he operate the car with no legs? Did he? Maybe there's a radio. Maybe there's a radio he called in for help. Maybe that was the case. But yeah, I think when I first saw this, I figured, I did. Oh, okay, he's not going to save him. He's going to get knocked out. He's going to do this and that. Maybe he's knocked out, thrown down the stairs. You think he's dead. But then after the scene, he comes up and he's got a bloodied head. No, it wasn't the case at all. They didn't do that at all. But yeah, I guess it's the really more showcase. She's willing to do this. She's willing to kill. And again, point of no return for this character. But yeah, I do think it's a tightly written script. You have two very solid performances. The idea itself works rather well. You know, what if an obsessed fan traps someone, and not only that, has to, you know, in movie-wise, it'd be, you killed this guy off in this movie, that's not going to happen. Misery 2, the Disney Star Wars edition. You killed Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, you better do this now, you know. And maybe Rian Johnson will be the James Caan part. Or J.J. Abrams. Both. Why not? But it's a well-done movie. I really don't have much issues with it. But yeah, I thought the acting, the direction, the pacing, it all worked well. And it did. Kathy Bates deserved her Oscar. And there's some, when I mentioned the direction, like the bit where James Caan's been looking around and Kathy Bates has just come home. And the way it's filmed and edited where it goes to Kathy Bates going to the, like Kathy Bates going to the door, and then James Caan, kind of the same frame, trying to get away. Then it cuts to like her feet. Then it cuts to him and the wheelchair. And it tried to build that tension. Will she find out? Will she not find out? And yeah, I thought Rob Reiner did a fairly good job with that. And the film came out. It was a good hit. Good size hit. I even liked the poster. I thought the poster with the house and the snow kind of really settled in on the isolation. And it's a lot better than the, what was that, voodoo one I saw recently? I mean a couple months ago. This is another one that tried to do a bit of misery and I thought just didn't work at all. I forgot what the hell it was called now. But solid Stephen King adaptation. And yeah, there's not much issues I really have with the film. But yeah, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.